see how New York is much harder than Michigan. It put me in a different place where suddenly just time for you to settle down, it's time for you to buckle up in life, it's time for you to get things going and stop wasting time, stop dragging your feet, because you can't depend on others. You can't keep on ask somebody for $1 out the road, but every time you see them. You have to work for your own, and I've seen a lot of people since I moved to Florida, and all they do, especially these men, is beg, 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 beg. And just selling weed because they don't want to work. But my thing is that throughout this pandemic, even this made me learn a lot, and I keep on asking myself, when is people going to learn? If this pandemic don't change nobody's life, then something is seriously wrong with us human beings. We're having a lot of problems if we don't change. Because this right here is supposed to be the year you start from last year, make money from last year to this year, change your life around, do things differently. Because we're living in the last days. Whether we want to accept it, yes or no, some of us don't want to even hear that word, but we are living in the last days. It's tough, but somebody has to tell the story. You gotta tell your kids and your grandkids, and you're gonna build a foundation. And that's the reason why I don't have any kids yet, because I want a foundation for my child. I want, when I'm dead and gone, I can say, you know what, at least something is left back for my child, so my child don't have to suffer.
That's real talk.
We learned a lot, and you're supposed to know. I'm not ashamed of my past. I'm not ashamed of the mistakes that I made in life. I appreciate the mistakes I make in life because I learned from it.
Okay.
I might not talk about my past to a lot of people, but whoever I spoke to about it, I try to reach out to people and change other people's life completely, because it's just each one teach one.
That's what life is. That's what life is all. Because I can remember when I know you was one little skinny girl.
I remember I was so small.
Watch, you was so skinny because I can remember when all you, I think Margie house did burn down or something, and I had to go look for clothes. I had no problem because I had in Michigan the people them was so big. And the small clothes them wasn't selling, so the whole family. I didn't have no problem. Was to load up the family with clothes.
But you know what, though? Even that situation, we could have lost our lives.
Yeah.
And it was just God. Why? Because that morning, because I went out that night, and I came in and I fell asleep, and I just want to use the bathroom, and I woke up, I'm like, why my room just full of smoke? It was so black in the room. And when I opened the door, the smoke and the heat just hit me down on my face, and the only thing I can do was call Mama, and she never answered me, and I called Kemara, and Kemara never answered me. I had to jump from the second floor and leave them in here because I had no other option. Because I can't wait, I can't break down the door, I couldn't do nothing.
Because you thought you lost them because you got a dip.
I had no other choice. I had to seek help. So I am really appreciative of me being here today. But thank God every day, because it just makes me it's life. It's life. That's why you have to live your life to the fullest. And that's the reason why some people ask me, why you're so serious, why you don't. It's not about being serious. I'm very serious when it comes out to my life. But I take other people's feelings in consideration as well. It's not just me. But, it is what it is.
Yeah, that was a life-changing moment. It was.
Even in the COVID last year, I suffered from panic attack, anxiety, depression. I thought I was going to die because I couldn't breathe. I woke up one morning around 4 o'clock and I couldn't breathe. And the only thing I remember is calling the nurse. And I called the nurse and I said, I don't feel good. I can't breathe. My chest caving in. And she was on the phone with me for a while. She said, it doesn't sound like you have COVID because you don't go anywhere but work. It sounds like you're having a panic attack. And she tried to talk to me and calm me down. And it's like the more she talked to me, the more I couldn't breathe. And I just remember one time I just take it 1 or 2 breaths at a time. And she said, that's it. Then she called 911 and I ended up in the emergency room. And I would never forget that when I got back breathing technique that I used when I was going to school, and that's what I used, and then I ended up calling 911 again. And they said, everything is fine, you don't have COVID, you need to stay home. For a month and a half straight, I was home. I couldn't go nowhere, I locked myself in the house. I put dark curtain on the windows, I don't want to see the daylight, I don't want to see nothing else, I was not eating nothing. Then that's when the depression came in. I was suffering like a dog. I'm not going to lie to you. I was 202 pounds. I gained a lot of weight. I was suffering from depression, and I started going to therapy 3 times a week. I was going to therapy. And every time she asked me why I'm crying, I couldn't answer why I'm crying. I couldn't tell her why I'm crying because I was just afraid of dying. I was really afraid of dying. I see when my sister had the COVID, that was like a hit for me right there.
Because when your aunt didn't pass away from it too? When your aunt didn't pass away from COVID?
That was my uncle ex-wife. She had passed away from COVID. I think 2 days after she go in the hospital, she sent a message that she knew she was gonna die. And it really opened my eyes, and it made me feel like we just